To have you here today. So this channel is all about spreading joy through art. And I'll tell you what could be more joyful than the simple thrill of a super sharp pencil. Have you run into this where you're working with your graphite or your colored pencil, charcoal, that type of thing, and it's getting to these nasty little edges and you don't have a good sharp point? So a good sharp point is super important when you're working with any kind of pencil, whether that's charcoal or colored pencil, watercolor pencil, whatever that is. You want to get a sharp point so that you can have really good crisp lines and that type of thing. And it's to get detail, you need to have these nice edges. So that's super important. And we're going to talk about that here today. And I'm going to be doing an experiment with you and to see which method is best for sharpening your pencils. So I've got here these are my watercolor pencils. And let's go ahead and I'll show you the things that we've got we can use for our experiment. And if you are new to my channel, I say welcome. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I hope that you'll ring that subscription bell and come and see me again. It's really great to have you. So I'm also going to be checking on the chat. So if we have anybody that is here, I welcome you, and I'm glad to interact with you live. And if you are watching this on the upload later, then leave me a comment, that type of thing. So I thought what we could do is we could make a chart talking about the pros and the cons of each of these different kind of methods of how to do your sharpening and that type of thing. And so let me show you here. I've got a Derwent. This is the Derwent Super Point, and here's the box that it came in. And then I've also got that we could work with today, this knife, a kitchen knife. And then this is what a lot of people will use too, is these tiny little sharpeners. And this little sharpener happens to be a cosmetic sharpener, an eyebrow pencil sharpener, but I've seen people use these. There's also a professional style of these from the brand KUM, and a lot of people swear by these. So we'll be talking about this as well. And I see some people have joined us. I see Diana is here. Hi, Diana. Good to see you. And Demarian Draws. Hey, Demarian. Good to see you guys. So the other sharpener that we can talk about today here is this what I would just consider like an office sharpener. This is a Boston sharpener. It's electric. It's got a cord. And then the shavings go in here like this, and you insert the pencil in through here. We'll go through and compare that to the Derwent and compare the kitchen knife. Some people will go and actually whittle down their pencils, and they swear by that. They'll go and go like this, and then they'll get a very long piece of lead going on their on the thing. So we'll talk about that method today as well. All right, so talking about this Derwent. So this is a Derwent manual sharpener, and I bought this one myself here after doing some reviews on the internet, and it came in a box like this with the instructions. And this is called a helical pencil sharpener. So the reason it's called a helical pencil sharpener has to do with the inner mechanism. Then also what comes in here is this little, let me get this open, is a little attachment. So this one can be used as I use it. I just use it just sitting here on my workspace. But what you can also do is you can take and there's a hole down here, and you can insert this like that, and then take this is a wing nut right here, and then this thing here, what you can do is you can put it right on your countertop, or if you have a desk, you can take a desk, because you would just basically take the wing nut and get it unscrewed all the way like so to the depth of your desk or your countertop, wherever you're going to put it. And then you put it like here, and then you clamp it on, so then it will just stay on the edge of your desk and not move. Now, I'm one of those people that I like to move mine around and that type of thing, so it's heavy enough that I don't need to do that. And same thing with this stationary, this Boston sharpener. This just sits on the desk and does not need to be clamped down. So, all right, and also I'm so glad that you guys are here. And sharpening the pencils, it's an important thing when we're doing our artwork to get these things sharp and get them good. So let's get started on this and thinking about what we would like, what kind of qualities or attributes are good in a pencil sharpener. Thought we could make a little chart here. Let's get this going. All right. So when we do this, and also Diana and Demarian, and everybody else who's welcome or who is here too, I want to also just take a moment to make sure that you guys, I know that Demarian and Diana, you are participating in the Totally Awesome Challenge that's coming up on my channel. So all are welcome to join. There's a short little video explaining how to participate, but basically you are making a artwork with a frog or a toad, and then using the hashtag Totally Awesome Challenge, and totally is spelled Toadly, Awesome Challenge. Yeah, you're doing it. Awesome, Demarian. Awesome. And I know, Diana, you are doing it too. I'm so excited. We have a ton of people. We have over 50 people who have told me they're doing it. So it's going to be a great one. All right, so in thinking about pencil sharpeners, so here's the Derwent Super Point. And that's this guy right here. Then we have the Boston Electric. Then we have a kitchen knife that we're going to use today here. And then we have a cosmetic blade, which is just this little fella here. And so, for example, let me just, I've got some colored pencils here. So I've got watercolor pencils. These are my, the Museum Aquarelle. And these have a super, super soft core. And then regular color pencils. These were my son Will's that he had in school, but let's just grab one of these and let's use this little manual one. I want to show you here the difference when you use the manual one. Basically, it's really so easy to use. You can't go wrong with it. You just stick it in there and just turn. But you can see we can get a really nice sharp point on that. Now let's use the Derwent, and I'll demonstrate how this works. So the Derwent has got, this is the little opening with a little box for the shavings. And then you have a hole here. So in order to put the pencil in, so let's just grab this pencil here. This is another one out of the Rose Art box. If I try and put this in, I can't actually get this in. I have to first telescope this piece out. And so what this is the guide that is going to hold the pencil in place. And now if I put this in, I still can't fit this into the hole. I have to squeeze the bunny ears up at the top. And when I squeeze this, I'll show you. So when I squeeze this, look at that. If you can see that, there's open and there's closed. When I'm squeezing it, then that, this is what holds your pencil in place. So I squeeze that to hold it open, and then I let it go, and then just turn the crank, and you can hear it make a sound. So it sounds like, if you've ever done like apple peeling, it's kind of like that. Now what happens is I'm going to keep turning it until I feel the resistance has stopped, and it actually makes a little different sound. And there it's stopped now. So we'll squeeze over here to get this thing out. And oh my gosh, look at this amazing point that you get on here. So let's compare the two. So with this little hand sharpener, just a little cosmetic sharpener, I can get just a very short tip on here. But look at that amazing tip that we can get on the Super Point. And this is literally, it's just amazing. So let me wipe these scrapings over here. And so when we think about pencil sharpeners and stuff, let's have cost. Is it safe? Is it clean or easy to use? Does it take no power? Is it quiet? And then do we get a very sharp point? Sharp point. So Yeah. Oh my gosh, I agree with you, Demarian. The Derwent is yeah, it's like super convenient to do this. But take a look at this amazing point that you get on here. So now let's try and use the knife method. And I'll say I'm a little scared to use the knife method. This is the first time I've done it, and I'm like a safety person where I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to hurt myself here. So, but basically what the process is that you just take a knife and you whittle it down and take this basically, and this is about as low tech as you can get, is this whittling method. Some people who do the whittling way, they really enjoy doing that. It's like, it's like I'll say easy to do, or it's some people, you can see clearly I'm failing at the, at the knife method, but for those people who do use the knife method, they do swear by it, and they say that they can take it. Now, I don't carry a knife with me, and so it's, I guess for me, a safety issue. So if we look at that, let's now take and let's try this other pencil sharpener here. This is the Boston. Now the Boston is an electric sharpener, which means you have to plug it into the wall. It takes electricity, so it's not as portable as the other sharpener like the Derwent. You can basically take that wherever you want. Same thing, you can take the little guy here wherever you want, and you can take the knife wherever you go. And oh, hey, it's my first try. Yes, Demarian, it's my first try using the using a knife with that, and I'll say it was a little scary. So, and I say, oh, I see that Schaefer, Dietrich Schaefer has joined. Hi, Daddy, that's my father, and good to see you. And oh, and look, Helen Schaefer is here too. So we have this. Oh, and also Dietrich and Helen Schaefer, if you aren't already subscribed to Demarian and to Diana and to Helen Schaefer, sure to subscribe to each other so we can all support one another. And it's great to have you here. So now let's go in, and I'm going to try now the Boston sharpener. So this sharpener, this belongs to my son John. So we have colored pencils from my son Will, and then a pencil sharpener from my son John. This is he bought this at the office supply store. So so I'm just going to insert the pencil. I've got it plugged in, and I'll keep going. It's a little bit noisy. I'm not really, let's see, I don't really know when to stop, so I'm going to just periodically take it out and check. It's getting sharper. Okay, all right, so it's looking good. All right, so yeah, okay, so it's getting there. I feel like this is kind of chewing up the pencil. We're having to do a lot of, there, okay. So let's compare this with what we did with Derwent. And I can see already we have quite a difference. Here's the Derwent, and then here's the Boston Electric. Here was my feeble attempt. I know if I would practice this, I could be much better with the knife thing. And then where was our little guy here that we did? Where's our little guy with the sharp point? Oh, here he is. Okay, here's our little guy that we did with the cosmetic sharpener. All right, so let's take a look here, and let's talk about cost. So the Derwent sharpener, this helical sharpener, is $24. The Boston is $25. A kitchen knife is just, you know, kitchen knives vary in cost. This one happened to be around $20. And then this little cosmetic blade, these are less than $2. So so it's a thing where long run, if you do a lot of work with graphite, with charcoal, that type of thing, let me know in the comments if you guys have a favorite sharpener that you like to do, or that you like to use. And Diana says some electric sharpeners eat up the pencils too much. And yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm trying to get a really sharp point, and I still cannot get it as sharp as I could with the Derwent Super Point. And yeah, it did feel like it was chewing up the pencil quite a bit. Now, as far as safety, this Derwent feels like that is, I'll say, we'll give that a check mark as yes, that's safe to use. The electric sharpener is safe to use. I'll say the cosmetic blade is safe, but that kitchen knife, for me personally, I'm not going to give it a check mark because I feel like I could have cut myself with it, that type of thing. And so, yeah, and then let me know in the comments here what your favorite, if you have a favorite brand or a favorite way of sharpening your pencils. As far as clean and easy to use, now, when we're using the knife method, and when we use this, I'll sharpen another one here, just using the cosmetic blade. When we sharpen this, you see I get shavings all over. And here we get an edge. Now here this kind of dug into the wood a little bit. But it makes kind of a mess. And so I know some people who do use these hand sharpeners, they keep like a little bowl of something, a little bowl for their shavings. But I'll show you, like, for example, here on the Derwent, there's a little box, and you just pull this out, and then your shavings are right here. I'm going to smell the shavings. Oh, they smell really good. There's like a pencil smell, that smells really good. And here on the Boston, the same kind of story, you get a little spot here. And look at that, there's a lot of color. You can see it did kind of eat through the pencil. When you invest in your pencils, I think it is a good idea to think carefully about what sharpener you're going to get. It's important. Okay, so let's check the chat, see what you guys are saying. All right, so Helen Schaefer, my mother, says, I use the Office Goods V7 and she loves it a lot. Okay, and then Demarian says, the cosmetic would do I would do a middle, as I've often broken that, and the blade has cut my fingers open before. Oh, all right, well, the cosmetic, let's do an X, and then let's do like an X through it like that too, so that it might be a question on this. And one other thing too, I know that some people use the KUM brand, and what that will come with is they recommend every 3 to 6 months you replace your blade. And you have to unscrew the blade and put a new replacement blade in, so you could also hurt yourself then or cut yourself. There is a sharp edge on that. And Diana said, yes, okay, all right. And then and now Dietrich says, you can set the point style on the sharpener Helen mentioned has 3 settings. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, and the grains on the electric sharpener are very fine, Demarian says. And hey, Madonna, Madonna, my sister from Missouri, hello and welcome. So, yeah, so now on this Derwent, let's talk a little bit more about this guy here. I had done some research, and this was a top-rated one as far as manual sharpeners go. Now, let me show you a little something about this, what it looks like inside. So and this is kind of tricky to get open, but if you've ever had a thing where like it got stuck or you had a problem with it, you just turn it, so here's clockwise, so you turn it counterclockwise and unscrew this little part here. And yeah, Dietrich is my father, Dietrich Schaefer, and he has a channel too, but he doesn't put content on it. He does all the videography with my mother, Helen Schaefer, and he appears, his voice, and once in a while he'll appear in her videos as well. He does all of the, Demarian, he does all of the videography for her. But yeah, they're wonderful. They live half the year in Florida and half the year in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So let me just show you here what this looks like. So here's the mechanism. Here's the inner core. And there's the inside. And this fits inside. So when the pencil goes out like this, basically you can kind of see all the way through. But what happens is the pencil goes into this and then it turns like this. And that's why they call it a helical sharpener, a helical manual sharpener. So let's get another little pencil out here. And then Diana, you said, how long does the actual Derwent sharpener last? Okay, so Diana, that is a good question, and I tried to find that information out. Um, they, I believe it's going to be years, but I actually don't know that for sure, and I believe it's years because of the mechanical nature of it. What is happening here is instead of the thing is it's actually gently shaving off the pencil. So I sadly, I did want to find that information out before the live stream, and I could not find that out. Okay, so Helen says, I did the blow thing for a while and forget it. Your Boston broke, so you tried out a few and chose the Office Goods electric one. You tried the Derwent because it didn't work for you, and you sent it back. Okay, so you tried a Derwent electric or a Derwent manual? Helen, put that, let us know. So if you, they say that if you ever get anything clogged in here, let's say you had a super soft pencil or maybe even a chunk of lead came off, you can always take this out and you can just wipe this out if it would get clogged up or anything like that, and then start over. So how this works is the pencil will fit in here, and then there is a gentle turning that happens like this. And so this helical function. And so you said it was a manual one, just like the one that I'm demoing. So you could, okay, so Helen found that she couldn't get hers to work properly. So, okay, so that's interesting. All right, so is it possible, I don't know what happened with that. That's an interesting thing. Hopefully you're happy with the one that you have now. So let me show you how to get this thing back in. So there is a little hook up at the top, and then there's a tab here and a tab there. So if you hold it with your finger up here, it's a little tricky to get it to seat back in, but now it's seated, and then you just turn it clockwise until it's on here. Let me get these shavings into the trash. Yeah, and I think it's one of those things too that pencil sharpeners, just like other art supplies, are very personal in that you want to find something that works for you. And some people like electric. The nice thing about electric is they're fast. That's also can be a negative with the electric, is that they can chew up your pencils a little faster than if you do it manually. I personally like the idea of the manual because when I use the manual, now if I'll just be quiet and listen, you can hear the sound when the pencil is done. And I can actually feel it when it's done. It will stop being harder to turn. So here, listen to this. Okay, could you hear the difference? And now I know that it's ready, and take a look at that amazingly beautiful point. So, see, and then there's really no mess. I've got just the shavings are just, in here, that type of thing. So, and then Schaefer's, okay, yeah, and you said it's the same one. So that is interesting that, everybody's got a different experience, and that's the key with your art supplies is you always want to find something that works for you. So as far as clean, we're going to give that a check mark because it's clean and easy to use. And I'll say that this electric one is also very clean and easy to use. The kitchen knife left a bunch of shavings all over, as did this little cosmetic marker, like these little handheld ones. These do leave kind of a mess. If you have, the way to get over that is if you have like a bowl or a little container to put them in, then you can get over that, the messy part of that. Oh my gosh, Pencil is here. Pencil, my son, literally pencil. That could be like a good joke, right? So good to see you. So now power, the Derwent, you do not need electric power for that. Boston Electric, yeah, you have to plug these electric ones. The negative with that is you do have to have a power source. So if you have a power outage, or maybe you're sketching or working in plein air outside, or there's somewhere where you don't have access to your pencil sharpener, then these, what's nice about these other methods is you can literally, this can go anywhere. The knife, can't take a knife with you in all locations, and you don't want to scare someone having, like a knife out and about. But this kind of thing is a little bulky to take with you, but if you're going to be doing a bigger project, that's certainly portable. Quiet. I'll say that this one, let's say that that this Derwent, I'll give that a, let's say it's maybe kind of, we'll give it a little check mark for quiet. It's pretty quiet. I'll say the Boston Electric is not quiet at all. The kitchen knife, yes, very quiet. And this cosmetic, this little cosmetic guy, yeah, that's super quiet too. And so pencil, you know what? The one that sharpens your head so far the best is we found it's this Derwent. This Derwent, it's called the Derwent Super Point. And it is like absolutely amazing. I'm gonna do another one. In fact, I'm gonna take this one that we had sharpened with the little hand sharpener, and I'm gonna squeeze the ears on here. And then I have to press and hold that so that it will accept the pencil. And let's see if we can get a sharper point on this guy, or a better point, so I can hear it. Okay, and so Diana is saying, which one is your favorite? All right. Oh, and Max Joe G. Hi, Max Joe G. Good to see you. So, oh my gosh, look at the amazing point that we can get with this Derwent. I am just thrilled with this Derwent manual sharpener. Okay, and so Diana, you said which one? Let's just a minute here. I'm gonna let's come to our conclusion. But I want to also just say too, if you are looking for any of these sharpeners, any art supplies, anything like this, I'll give a quick little plug here for, this is my Amazon influencer page. So I'm what's called an Amazon influencer. I have a list of curated art supplies. It's basically all the supplies that I use are out here. So if you're ever curious, like this Derwent is out there, all of the art supplies, these colored pencils, canvases, paint, basically everything I use, tube bringers, is all out here. You have to go to amazon.com/shop/Dena_Tollefson. And if you try and just go to Amazon and search for my name, you can't get there. You have to do it through the Amazon shop. But anyway, if you are needing any art supplies or just curious what my recommendations are, I've got a lot of things out there that are really awesome things. And so Helen says, when you use colored pencils, then after a few are sharpened, you should sharpen graphite pencils to clear the sharpener. So you bought a bunch of cheap graphite, and it works. And yeah, that's true, Helen. If you've got especially soft pencils, and you want to clear that color out of here, so I've got a little graphite pencil right here. That's a good tip, Helen. So we'll, whoops, now I have to get it fed in like this. We'll just sharpen. This is just a regular pencil that you use, just a regular graphite, and take a look at that tip. Is really gorgeous, a gorgeous tip. Okay, and so, all right, and so Diana is guessing the Derwent, yeah, okay. All right, and so Diana's saying you're gonna guess the Derwent, and Dietrich Schaefer, my father, said, we also tried the Colore electric pencil sharpener. The sharpener was poor quality and failed after sharpening just a few pencils. Oh my goodness, oh that's terrible, that's terrible. And Max Joji says, those school classroom sharpeners, they're really bad in your opinion. Yeah, those pencil sharpeners for classrooms are not set up to be like an artist grade things. They just get your pencil just to a certain level and then they kind of die out, don't they? But yeah, having these kind of tips on your work, you can really get detailed work. There's nothing like the thrill of just a beautiful point on your pencil. And when you're doing your work, it's just so satisfying to have this wonderful edge that you're working with. And another little trick is when you are working with a sharp tip on your, as you apply any pressure and as the pigment or the graphite or the charcoal goes onto the surface, if you will you'll see I'm just rotating, lightly rotate just as I'm working on it. And what will happen is your tip will stay sharper and your edge will be better. If you just, and see, if you can just see, I'm very subtly, I'm just going and just using this edge, and then as I'm going, I'm just rotating it as it works. And the other thing to think about too is these are inexpensive pencils. These are not like super great pencils. I am going to take one of these. I'll demonstrate on one of my, let's grab one of the Museum Aquarelle. I'm going to demonstrate how I use this on a premium. This is a very soft lead. This is actually watercolor pigment, but how to do this on a premium pencil. And so let's go in. Whoops, let me get it fed in first. So we get it out here and fed in. There we go. And we're turning, and I can feel it's turning, and then I'm going to wait for the edge to stop feeling like it's catching. All right. Whoops. I'll go a little bit more. I didn't get it sharp enough yet. There, I didn't have it fed all the way in. There we go. So let's do another test here. Okay. Ah, yeah, beautiful. So this is the beautiful sharp edge that I can get. And I'll say that coming out of the, that this is what the point looks like. This pencil has not been used yet, but this pencil coming right out of the crayon dash, right out of the box, they have this kind of an edge. But you can get an even nicer edge here with this Derwent. So, okay, so, and so Helen is saying, I do like the point on the Derwent. I must try yours once I bring you some of my color pencils. Yeah, I think definitely, give that a try again, because the Derwent is super, super well rated out with other artists. And now let's talk about the sharp point, because that sharp point is just so key. Oh, and hey, Rebecca, good to see you. I'm glad that you were able to make it. So as far as a very sharp point goes, we're going to give the Derwent a star. I think this by far has the very best sharp point. As far as now, again, my skills at whittling are really pathetic, and obviously this is like the best I could get with the with doing the knife method. Practice with that. I know I could be much better with that. And then this little cosmetic blade. I'll say that it does not give us a sharp point. It gives us a sharp point, but it's a very short sharp point, and it would have to be sharpened again within just a couple strokes. The kitchen knife, no, it does not, but I'll say the Boston Electric does give us a nice sharp edge. What I feel like the negative with that is that it was chewing up the pencil, and I personally don't have control over how much pencil is going in. I like to use the more expensive color pencils, and so because I'm doing that, I want to be careful that I don't waste my lead in the electric. And I think if I would become better at using an electric, I probably would be able to gauge that a little better. But for me, just having the ability to go in and do this by hand, I can feel how many turns it needs. So as far as recommendations go, I say I would definitely go myself. This is my favorite sharpener, is this Derwent Super Point. And I do have this out on my Amazon site if you want to check that out. So, all right, well, I want to thank you guys all for being here, and it's been a wonderful live stream, and I'm really so happy that you're here. And so until next time, this is Dena Tollefson, and all my love to you. Bye-bye.